Gentlelady from New York.
The debt ceiling was originally introduced to pay for World War I and was designed to be a formality that would help our country and economy operate smoothly and without interruption. And all these years later, having done that, the debt ceiling now appears to have outlived its usefulness. In fact, I believe that we should abolish the debt limit altogether and never face a crisis like this again of whether we will be a responsible country that pays our bills. Only one other country has the debt limit, and that is Denmark. I think we really need to look at this as an anachronism from 1917. Regardless, throughout the life of the debt ceiling, raising the ceiling has never been questioned. Since 1960, the debt ceiling has been raised 78 times. And throughout this time, there has been no quid pro quo demanded to raise the debt ceiling, no ransom demanded in exchange for raising our debt ceiling and preventing default. That is, until today. Bringing our nation to the brink of collapse has been a conscious decision of the majority party. Placing ideology before country, they are demanding controversial and unacceptable cuts, or else they are willing to let our nation default. We have been warned by the United States Senate, the President of the United States, that the proposed legislation will not be passed into law. They have said it repeatedly. They have said it clearly. Yet the majority continues to believe this bill can actually avert the danger of default. They're playing a dangerous game of chicken, asking the nation to give in to their demands if we want the American economy to live to see another day. I simply cannot agree to the extreme demands being put forth by the majority today. After pulling yesterday's legislation from the floor, the majority has introduced a piece of legislation that demands the impossible. Today's bill doesn't just require a vote on a constitutional amendment. It demands that before the 6 months when we have to face default again, that we vote on a constitutional amendment and that it be approved by both chambers of Congress this fall. If the amendment doesn't pass, then we not only face the prospect of default again 6 months from now, but we have even fewer options to avoid default. If previous proposals are any guide, the constitutional amendment would place the burden of debt reduction squarely upon the middle class, threatening Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, and members of Congress would be given a Sophie's choice. Do we vote against this amendment and protect Medicare, or do we vote for the amendment to avoid economic default? This is totally unnecessary. In effect, this legislation releases one hostage and takes another. 6 months from now, we would be forced to choose between a constitutional amendment and putting the nation back on the brink of default. I refuse to trade hostages with the majority and prolong this crisis for another 6 months. I urge my colleagues to put the country before any ideology and come together to solve an urgent and serious crisis that we are facing today. It's our duty to put the welfare of the country before all else. That is why we were elected by the people who expect us to do just that. And that is what we swear to do. It is time we answered the call. I urge my colleagues to vote no on today's bill and urgently get back to serving the American people. We've spent far too much time on this. I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentlelady from New York reserves the balance of her time.